Good morning, everyone. We are, can you believe it, already at the end of January. So a lot of people are starting to get back into work, and they're starting to realize after the break, oh my gosh, I can't sit by the pool and do what I want when I want anymore. And they might be stuck in their job, or they might even be in business, but wanting to improve on it. So this morning, I've got one of our latest authors that has got an amazing book that might just be something that you might want to read to actually take back control of your life. So this book is called How to Start a Business in 2 Weeks. So this is the amazing book here. And we've got Tony Eades with us, a business trends expert, certified speaking professional, and Australia's leading business rethinker. So there's lots of information that you can read in this. So welcome this morning, Tony.
Very good to be here. Thanks, Susan. Excited to see that book come to life.
Yes, it's like getting all that knowledge out of your head onto paper. And what I love about this book is, you've simplified it. You've made it, into chunk-sized pieces that people can really take in, taking away all that, complex jargon inside the book. But tell me, Tony, why did you write this book?
Well, it's an interesting question that could take up the whole interview, but I've been obviously working with a number of businesses over the, I don't know, 20 or 30 years that I've been doing what I do now, which is kind of generally marketing, but working a little bit more, consulting a lot with people that are thinking about starting a business. I think as well that one of the things I believe is that everybody has a business inside them. The same way as probably you, Susan, say everyone's got a book inside them. I believe there's a business inside of everybody. And I think after we went through the pandemic, a lot of people started to reevaluate how they were going to move forward. Like, did they want to go back to the same old grind of working 9 to 5? There was even a thing around job security. Would their job still be secure post the pandemic? So I think now is kind of like the right time for people to consider, how can I let out this book that's inside of me? Sorry, this book as well, but this business that's inside of me, so that we can actually go out and start to become a new entrepreneur. And I think the other thing the book does as well is, some of the stats that they say, like 1 in 3 businesses fail in the first year. One of the reasons I wrote this book was to try and change that stat, that trajectory, because I just think it's such a horrible thing. People have a passion for a business, they start a business, and a third of them go within the first year. I mean, that's just a frightening statistic. So this book, I believe, helps people who are starting a business to overcome and avoid some of those pitfalls, so they don't become the 1 in 3, they become the 2 in 3 that then end up building a successful business for their future.
Yeah, fantastic. We know so many people that have got, skills that they've learned, and, they're working in a job that they don't like, and they would love to start a business. And there's so many people that I know have built a business like as a side hustle while they're still in a job, so that they've got some funding to invest into the business, which I know you talk about in this book, and being prepared. So even though the book title, how to start a business in 2 weeks, what's so great about that is that you're giving, these people that might want to think, well, I don't even know what business that I want to be in. You don't need to know, what you're doing. And I know that's one of the parts that you talk about, what is it that you want to do as a business? So don't think you have to have it all sorted. I think what's important, I think it's going, well, do I want to start a business? Do you need to leave your full-time job first and just jump in, or can you start building this on the side and educating yourself with a book like this? So one of the things is, like I said, you don't need to know what the business is, but if you did, great, that still works in. So tell me, besides that, I know there's a lot jam-packed in here. Even though it says 2 weeks, there's so much jam-packed. Can you tell me, I've covered a couple, like, what they need to invest in, and, what could a business be that they would like. But tell me maybe what you would think the top 3 things that people could get out of reading this book for themselves.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you've highlighted a couple of reasons why people would even consider this book. And I think it's basically for anybody. It could be a young entrepreneur, for example, like Sir Richard Branson, for example, started his very first business at the age of 16, and look at him now. So you could be the next Sir Richard Branson, perhaps. It could be somebody, as you said, working in an existing business. You just take 2 weeks holiday, and within 2 weeks, you could have your business all set up before you even go back to work. I mean, that's the idea. You don't have to take 2 weeks. You can take more time, but I mean, it's there if you want to do it. But I think the three things that people will get out of this while they're actually doing the business is firstly, everything you need to know. Because when you're a new business owner, you wear many hats. And Susan, I'm sure if you go way back to when you started your business, we've got these different hats on, from HR to sales to marketing to running the business. It's a multitude of different hats. So what this book does is help you be a specialist when wearing those hats. So you know actually what you're doing, because none of us can be good at everything. We can't be good at sales and marketing and running a business and everything. And for a lot of people, this is the first time that they've ran a business. So the book will cover everything from, to your point, what you could sell. Like, it's not necessarily what you're doing now as a job. It could not be your passion. Your passion might be something else. So let's build a business around your passion. So then what does it look like? What does it sound like? What's the branding for that book? How to set the book up, how to make sure you're financially stable, which is one of the big pitfalls for businesses that go under, is that they don't put enough money aside or manage the finances. They get excited in doing the doing and get all this money in, and they just want to spend it all. And obviously we know the tax man's just over here, and he's going to come knocking for his bit of the share of the business. So I think that's an important part. I think, as a new entrepreneur wearing those many hats, this book will actually help you just go through step by step. And I've deliberately done the chapters so you feel like you're building the structure of the business, like a Lego kind of thing. If you're building the business out of Lego, you start at the ground and you gradually build it up until you've made the shape you want. So think of it like that. So by the end, when you get to the last chapter, you're ready to launch. And we've covered everything, not just the business, but also your lifestyle, because a lot of people want a business for lifestyle. So there's a chapter in there specifically, which I love, which is around the balance. How do you get the balance between owning a business and health and well-being and family time? Because that's the ultimate goal, I think, of having a business rather than working. More flexibility, but not if you dive in and you just work 7 days a week because you're so excited on the business. So I think there's a bit of everything in there, so we don't miss anything. It's really that step-by-step blueprint to building a successful business.
Yeah, absolutely. You cover so many important things in business, and that's why we do want to work for ourselves, to have that flexibility and to be able to think. I always say to people, think about the business that you want to build, because I know people that will just get in there and build a business, and then they go, "Oh my God, this is worse than my job. I'm exhausted. I don't enjoy it." Because they haven't really done that planning, that old, saying, fail to plan, plan to fail type thing. So I think this book is really structured in a 2 week framework, to allow them to do that. And you covered a little bit about that, how it's in sort of sections, and that whether you take 2 weeks to build your business, it doesn't mean you have to open the door in 2 weeks, but you could go through each day and each section and know that you're set up powerfully, and then go back and go, okay, well, now I'm going to start. I've got all this information about, and so, that framework that you talk about, that's so that they can go from start to finish and not miss any parts in between.
Yeah, 100%. And I suppose this book, as well as being everything you need to know to do it right, it's also the things that you need to avoid, right? As we mentioned before, that terrible stat, that's one of the big things. So while you're going through this book, it's actually showing you things that you need not do or you should not do, because there's obviously pitfalls in any kind of business. Even, to the name of the business and the logo and the branding, like the messaging for the structure of your business. So many times I've seen businesses start, do it quick, do it on the cheap. And then they find a year or two as the business becomes successful, is it doesn't quite gel anymore with what they've done. So it's getting it right from the start, that very much that foundation. And I think the other thing for me, this book is about motivating you to do it now. I think a lot of people procrastinate. They sit back and they think, oh, I'd love to run a business one day. And then before they know it, it's Well, I was going to say it's too late, but to be honest, no matter how old you are, I mean, Colonel Sanders started his whole business, KFC, when I think he was retiring. He was like in his 70s or 80s before he started, and look how successful that business. So it's never too late, but it's a lot better if you do it sooner than later because you can enjoy the lifestyle. So this is about motivating you. I started my first business in a recession, which is actually a really good time to start a business if there is a recession because you're kind of future proofing your business. Like if you start it in a high, then a recession comes. Obviously, you're not prepared for the downside, but there's never a good time to start a business. So start it today, and this book will actually help you step by step. If you've been procrastinating, this is the book to get and to get started. So you'll be an entrepreneur, as soon as you can.
Absolutely, and I love that. This can be, someone can buy this book for their young teenage child we're starting to get a little bit better in some schools where they're actually introducing subjects like entrepreneurship, because we're starting to realize, especially with the pandemic, that we can work from home, we can create a business, and so this book can be for any age, and your business can be as big or as small as you like to bring in some extra money. There's lots of things in here. We talk about websites, branding, like everything that you need. It's such a thick, solid book, but a nice, easy to read in chunks. So the exciting news is that anyone listening today, if you want to buy a book for yourself, you want to buy a book for your young adolescent, you want to buy a book for the retired, father, anybody can really get a lot out of this book. Like you said, the business can be as big or as small. This takes them through every step. Now, we've got an exciting news that we've got a link available for anyone that wants to purchase this pre-purchase before its official launch on the 14th of Feb, which is Valentine's Day. So what a beautiful gift to give to people. So if you jump on now, you can purchase it and you can get the book as soon as it lands. So Amazon is ready. They've got their books all there and they're about to launch it. So we're going to put the link in for people to pre-order today. Get in and they will be shipped straight away as soon as it releases in only a couple of weeks. So you get to pre-order it, pay for it. It'll get to ship to you very soon. So that's really exciting. And we know, when is the right time? Now is the right time. So get in and read this book. And especially if you've just come back to work and you're not enjoying your work and you've just come back from your holidays, it's definitely a book that, maybe not let the boss see that you're reading it, but, this is something that you can definitely read and start thinking and getting creative about a business that you might want to run. So is there anything you want to leave the listeners with today, giving them, I suppose, that courage to know that anyone can start a business?
Well, indeed, to put it in perspective, there's 2.5 million small businesses in Australia. That represents 97% of all businesses. So there's people out there doing it. It's the fabric of our society. We need to have more small businesses propping up the economy and giving flexibility and choice to people, instead of just these massive businesses and consortiums. So I urge you, if you've got a business inside you, no matter what it is, pick up this book and start today, because you could be adding to that 97% and that 2.5 million and make small business stronger in Australia.
Absolutely. And it's all about supporting each other, to create that amazing lifestyle. So beautiful. Here's the book now, How to Start a Business in 2 Weeks. It will be in bookstores very soon. So if you want to grab a copy before they all kind of get out there, you get to be the first one off the ground. Jump on now, get your book as a pre-order, and it will be sent as soon as it's available, even before it gets into bookstores. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Tony, and sharing all your wisdom in the book and, sharing all of that so people can get out and create the best lives for themselves.
Thanks very much, Susan. I'm so looking forward to seeing the stories that people will share with us as their businesses start to flourish and evolve. But thanks very much to you and your team for helping me get to this point, and so looking forward to people grabbing the book and becoming a small business this year.
Thanks so much. Bye for now.